Hello, hello. Happy Halloween, all of our Launch Codes football fans. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Chelsea.
and if to all my well, not straw hats, to all my Whitebeard fans, we got the Ace hat going. Rest in peace, Ace. And Chelsea has the headset on because we had a little bit of a technical issue before recording.
Dude, the
Chelsea.
crazy thing about this is that I'm not one of those people that's not good with technology. Like, I'm actually fairly proficient at stuff like that. Charged my AirPods at work before this started. They won't connect. So I have like old crappy AirPods that I keep meaning to recycle that don't work that I thought, oh, I can make do for an episode dead. So then I thought, oh, you know what I'll use? I'll pull out my wired crappy $5 headphones from my first job out of college. They don't have a mic. Can't use those. So here I am, depending on my husband's nice gaming headset to carry me through. Safe to say I was mad earlier. Like, I don't, why? I was ready, had everything in order, charged everything, I thought. Yeah, evidently not.
Yeah, like if this is a football game. Like, coach, I can't find my helmet. Like, get the story. Wait, like, what do you mean you can't find your helmet?
That's literally how I feel. And now I look like I'm wearing a helmet. These things hurt my head.
Oh, this thing's too big for my head. I can only really wear this when I have no hair. But no, this is actually officially the halfway point in the NFL season. It's week 9 coming up. Here we are. Some teams have been surprising in a good way, like Chelsea's Colts. Some team has been, I guess, not surprising, just more, yeah, this I would something like this would happen for my turn and my team, the Steelers. They're finally going to meet head to head, but that's not the first and only game that we need to talk about for week 9. Because Lord knows that we know the game of the week this week has to be a rematch of past AFC championship games, past AFC divisional games. It's the battle between the arguably the two best quarterbacks of their generation. Again, Chiefs at Bills again. And you know what? After how bad the Chiefs offense looked the first few weeks and them looking a lot better now they're getting their receivers back. It's kind of fun seeing now a clear matchup of two teams that are just where the offenses look like as good as and talented as their quarterbacks are. I'm happy to see that finally.
Yeah, me too. I mean, side note, can you believe it's week 9? Gosh, I feel like we were just doing episodes about the season starting. Can't believe it's week 9 already. But no, we are gonna get two more or less full strength teams in this matchup, which I believe the didn't the Bills played the Ravens in week 1, didn't they?
And that was a
That was
crazy
like the
comeback.
last time. Yeah. And then didn't the Chiefs played the Ravens too, didn't they? Or am I misremembering?
No, Chiefs played Baltimore, and that's the game Lamar got
And
hurt.
Lamar got,
And
yeah. So
even
then it
before
wasn't
then, they didn't
wasn't
look
the
that good.
same. Right. So we're kind of back to our week 1 versions of ourselves, at least in regards to Kansas City, in regards to, having some players back before people got hurt because it was week 1. Obviously, they didn't have Rashee Rice in week 1 because of his suspension, but he is back.
Mhm.
Xavier Worthy is back. Hollywood Brown looks decent. Kelsey appears to be reemerging, not necessarily to his old all-pro self necessarily, but to a version that is definitely sustainable in this offense. Yeah, no, this is exciting. I will be very interested to see how Buffalo's wide receivers look in this game because Kansas City has a very good defense, one of the best secondaries in football, and the Bills don't have a clear-cut number one. I mean, they
Yeah.
took the kid from Florida State thinking that he was going to be, the guy. And I would probably say if you're a Bills fan, you're probably thinking he's a bust right now, just based on stats alone. I'm not talking about you watch the game, he does stuff that's not on the score sheets and stuff like that. But I mean, he's been pretty unimpressive. And they have Shakir, who I don't think is bad, but I don't think your average NFL fan is going to argue Shakir is a true wide receiver one. He's probably a two at at the highest, if not a
That,
three in a prolific offense. Um,
that's true,
so
but at the same time, the Bills do have, after James Cook just came off a 200-yard rushing game,
that's true.
they have the best in terms of if I had to pick best offensive player on either side, not count the quarterbacks, it's fair to say Cook is probably your best
Probably
offensive
James
player
Cook. Yeah, that's
because
true. I agree. He definitely makes up for a lot of proficiencies, and they have Knox and Kincaid, who they can run two tight end sets with, who I think are both good. But if they lose this game because of mediocre wide receiver performances, I will be very interested to see what they do at the trade deadline. because I've heard Chris Olave is on the trade block. I've heard Jalen Waddle is on the trade block. Can you imagine Jalen Waddle on this team with Josh Allen? Dude, that would be crazy. So I'm interested to see how the wide receivers stack up against their secondary. That's probably the matchup I'm watching the most outside of, James Cook running all over Chris Jones, which I feel is probably not going to happen because Chris Jones is Chris Jones, but, there's always a chance. But no, this will be a good game. I'm excited for this one. And it's at 4, so you don't have to stay up till 11:30.
Um, I'm also gonna be interested in seeing how Buffalo's defense, because I think that's quite, even though like you said, they don't really have a wide receiver one. When you have a great quarterback like Allen and then solid receivers by committee, you've seen this from Mahomes past few years. Like he can still make something out of not having number one. Buffalo's defense hasn't been that impressive though, and Kansas City usually has a very good defensive team, and it's just and you can say the same thing this year. It's getting a little bit better and better each week. So Buffalo, I want to see how they do against a Kansas City team because this turns to a shootout. I don't trust Buffalo to be able to keep up with them. So that's the biggest question for Buffalo, honestly, going this season. It's just can their defense withstand just like go against the big dogs in AFC? And now you just lost Ed Alvarez. I think they fear that he tore a ligament, he tore his
He gets
bicep.
his bicep, maybe.
So he might be done for who knows how long, if not the season. So it's not look it's not looking good, but I'm never going to turn away from Mahomes versus Allen matchup. That's always going to be must-watch television.
For sure. And who knows? Maybe this will be Keon Coleman's coming out game. I mean, maybe he'll emerge in this game. Um, it'll just be, I'm very interested to see, honestly, for both of these teams. Like, because you know that this is a playoff matchup, right? Kansas City and Buffalo. This is probably a divisional matchup and AFC championship matchup.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how they look because if there are clear deficiencies on either of these teams, you know they're going to start shopping if they haven't already, especially against divisional top tier talent like the Chiefs or the Bills. So I'm very interested to see. Apparently, Liam Cohen is saying, I don't know if you saw the report about how Jacksonville is open to trading Brian Thomas, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And so Jacksonville.
Yo,
Apparently,
that
Liam Cohen came out today and was like, "We're not trading him." Respectfully, I don't believe you.
respectfully, that's just like you guys gave up on that guy so easily, but who knows? But that goes
I'll take him. I mean, if you want to get rid of him for pennies on the dollar, I suppose I can do you a solid and take him off your hands if he's, that much of an issue for you.
oh yeah, the Colts totally need more offensive firepower. One
I
team
mean,
that
can you
actually
imagine him on the Bills or the Chiefs? I mean, that'd be
one team that actually might need him is maybe the Houston Texans. They're about to face trap host the Denver Broncos coming off a 5-game winning streak. Houston just had a massive win this week. They just steamrolled who they play again. Why am I blanking on who?
Dallas.
Dallas. They didn't play no, not Denver. Denver steamrolled Dallas. Okay, Houston. Who did Houston steamroll?
Oh, the Niners.
San Fran. It was San Fran. That was it. Why can't I remember that?
The
But no,
Niners.
this is just going to be Denver is. I want to like. I said this year before the season started. I didn't think Denver was going to make the playoffs. I said it was going to be the Chargers taking the division, Chiefs making the wild card, Denver being the last man out. They really should have lost the Giants game clearly, and the Dallas
But
game
it's a testament to how they played in the fourth quarter. I mean, that was amazing.
is a testament. But then at the same time, I don't want to do like the Tebow model, like you're terrible for the first 3 quarters, then you explode in the fourth quarter. To me, against a really solid team, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
They
I
they just
agree.
they destroyed Dallas, but Dallas just their defense isn't that special. So
And the funny thing is, it looked like Dallas took a step forward after last week. Like they didn't give up that many points and they came right back and we're like, don't worry, guys, we're back.
back to reality. But yeah, Houston. I'm not sure in terms of Houston. I'm very like waiting to see be wowed by Houston. And even though they won against San Francisco, this is San Francisco's the only other team probably more injured than Dallas. That's not even Dallas. They're just more injured than everyone at this point. So I think this is a good game to see how serious a contender Denver can be, and is Houston an actual playoff team? And CJ Stroud actually got over like the sophomore junior year slump. Because he had a big game this past week, but I want to see him not. He doesn't have to throw 4 touchdown passes again, but just not what we saw the first few weeks.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Denver is a tough matchup for Houston. Though I will say, in defense of Houston, they have one of the best defenses in football. You want to talk about a
Yeah.
great secondary? They have a great secondary. Derek Stingley is amazing. Um, so they're going to need the Cortland Suttons and the Troy Franklins and, those types of the world to show up in this game. It's going to be a tough game for Bo Nix, I think, because Houston has a very good pass rush. They have a very good secondary. They have good linebackers. So this is going to be a real challenge for Bo, who's had an up and down sophomore season, which is usually about how it goes. Um, I mean, he's shown real flashes of being amazing, and he's had games where he really has not looked that good at all. It would not shock me if he had a stinker against Houston just because of how good their defense is. I mean, I will say I'm looking at CJ Stroud's stats right now, and he did throw an interception last week, yes, but I do think he's trying to take a step forward. I mean, he had a really good completion percentage, and 3 weeks ago when they played Baltimore, he went 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. So he's definitely having an erratic year. There's no doubt about that, but if CJ Stroud goes out and performs against a very talented Broncos defense with the Pat Surtains and the Nick Bonitos of the world, I mean, that's going to be a real step forward to him as well. So I think that's probably the biggest headline in this game is to see how the junior and sophomore year quarterbacks perform against elite defenses in the league. Because if they make the playoffs, cards, which is the way it's looking right now, that's who they're going to play. They're going to play the Chiefs of the world. They're going to play, assuming the Ravens make it. If it were last year, their defense was great, but not this year, I guess. But, Indianapolis doesn't have a bad defense. The Chiefs don't have a bad defense. The Bills, they're okay, but you have to outscore the Bills to beat them. So it's
Yeah.
like that's a challenge in itself. So I'll be really interested to see how they play, especially against these secondaries, because these are two extremely skilled secondaries. They are very good.
You talking about the secondaries. I'm thinking more also. I think going to this past week, Denver had the most sacks. I'm not sure if that changed after week 8, but you going with a team that can get to the pass like Denver against
I mean,
offensive line
Bonito is amazing.
like
Zach Allen,
An O line as bad as Houston with those guys coming after him. That's like this. I don't expect this to be a very high scoring game. Well, I'm gonna say that. I expect this to be like in the 20, like a 20-17 or like an 18-14 game. I'm not sure how you gonna get to 18 points, but I guess no.
safety,
Safety, maybe.
safety, and two extra points, two-point conversions.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be an interesting game to see. Like these two teams are kind of second tier in the AFC. He's Houston
Which
even
is crazy to
Is
think
Houston even
about.
second tier at this point? I think Denver's second tier, but is Houston even second tier, but
Houston, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, they're putting up a fight. I will give them credit for that. They have not looked amazing, but they're putting up a fight, and they crushed Baltimore, which they really needed. I know it was without Lamar Jackson and things of that nature, but still, I mean, that is still a big win, even, against Baltimore. So they're trying their best. I fear they're not going to be able to catch up to win the AFC South, but that's a discussion for another day, I suppose.
well, one team that's not going to catch up to win the NFC South is probably going to be the Panthers. They are traveling to Green Bay, and yep, Green Bay, they sure showed out this past week on Sunday night. That was fun. That was awesome. This head's hurting my head now. I'm gonna take this off. Don't worry, I can hook. It still has a hook up on my neck. But Carolina, yeah, Rico Dobbins, Dotto. Why I keep saying Dobbins? Rico Dotto. He looks really good. I'm not sure if Bryce is coming back because Andy Dalton didn't look that good this past week. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be Green Bay. I'm not okay. The Steelers defense is bad, but they impressed. They put on a light show, and they actually were able to play decent defense this past week, Sunday night. I think I honestly think this is actually gonna be a really bad game for the Panthers, even with Bryce on the center, because Green Bay has a really strong pass rush. Micah's been getting better week after week after week, and it showed. You're getting Matthew Golden's coming back, so he came back. He has first week back, so you're getting your receivers back. Love had a really great game.
Christian Watson had a good game in his first game back.
Watson, Kraft looks like one of the best tight ends in the league right now. I just, Chels, you're more high on the Panthers than I am, so try to tell me why the Panthers have a shot.
Well, first of all, they only have a shot if Bryce plays. If
Okay.
Bryce doesn't play, they're not winning this game. And that's not saying that much because Bryce has been very erratic this year. So if you get the bad version of Bryce, you're probably not winning this game even if he does play. Now, I will say the announcement that came out today with Rico Dowdle officially taking over the starting job for the Panthers, I think does Bryce a very big solid. I think Rico Dowdle, at least in this hot streak that he's in, is very good. I don't know if he's going to continue necessarily because they do have some tough games in front of them, including this one. Um, but if Bryce can get the ball out fast and he can make quick decisions, I could see them upsetting in this game. I'm not going to lie. I think the Packers are good. I think that they have a lot of weapons. They might be getting Jaden Reed back as well, at least in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure if he's going to make it back against the Panthers, but he's starting to get healthy. And if they had him, I mean, that would be crazy. But they're going to have to stop Tucker Kraft. They're probably going to have to put JC Horn on Tucker Kraft, which is crazy to put your number one corner on a tight end, um, which is just insane. But it would not shock me if the Panthers could pull out this game. If they can get good O-line play and a decisive Bryce and they can run the ball well with Dowdle, I think that they can win because honestly, I really don't think their defense is that bad. If you watch them on a week to week really not awful. I know they looked bad this week, but they've had one of the best run stuffing defensive metrics in the league this season. They can, kind of bottle up Josh Jacobs. That's going to limit Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is very talented. I think he looked great last Sunday. I do think he's still growing though, and he still is making some dumb mistakes. I don't think you can necessarily classify him as a quote unquote elite quarterback. I don't think anyone is going to put him in the top five, maybe not even the top 10 right now as a quarterback. So if you can get Jordan Love to make some mistakes and you can get good play from your defense, I don't think that this is impossible because Jordan Love either plays amazing like he did against the Steelers or he throws like three picks. He's very inconsistent. He's more consistent now than he was when he was a rookie, but in his first year, I mean. But he's still not the most consistent guy, so they're gonna need Jordan Love to show out if they want to win this game. And they're at home, so that helps. But if you can make Jordan Love make some mistakes, I think that this is a winnable game for the Panthers, which might sound crazy and they might lose by 40 and then we'll be back next week and you'll be like, Chelsea, what were you thinking? And I'll be like, oh, I was an eternal optimist. But we're not at next week now, so I'm gonna believe, okay? All my
I'm
Panthers fans are so like all over the place. All my friends that are Panthers fans are like, we're good, we're bad, we're good. It's like, love me not. Love me not. They can't decide. So I'm gonna be the optimist.
But good for you, because I think they're going to get blown by 40. One team that I know the Panthers, they really want the Panthers to win is the Vikings in Detroit. They're heading up into Motor City, and I have no idea who the Vikings are starting at quarterback
It's gonna
because
be McCarthy, I think. I'm
is he
pretty sure they announced he was coming back this week, even after the Wentz injury got announced.
okay? Because I was looking up earlier, like who's their quarterback? 'Cause I saw Desmond Ridder. I'm like, oh
Sure would
boy,
be nice if they had a nice Daniel Jones.
it should be nice. They had a nice Sam Darnold again,
Mm, yep.
but I don't know. Minnesota, they've been. I'm I think I said last week or 2 weeks ago, like I'm really high on Brian Flores, and then since I've said and like he really hasn't shown out that well the past few weeks defensively. I'm not sure how much that is just defense getting worn down because of Wentz, but I'm not that blown away by the Vikings defense, and that defense doesn't step up and isn't like it honestly has to be an elite defense. It has to be a top five defense for them to have a chance because there's nothing from McCarthy from the little we've seen of him saying that he can carry a team. There's nothing from we saw Wentz what he did, and he's same old Carson Wentz gunslinger doing the double coverage sometimes. We got Aaron Jones Sr. back, but he's going to take probably a little while to get going again. I was very high on the Vikings this year. I'm not getting off the bandwagon. But with how good the NFC West is right now with the 49ers, Seattle, and um, the Rams, then you have the Packers and the Lions in the North and the Bears, even though they just lost, the Bears still in the running. The Vikings, they might be one of my more disappointing teams at the halfway point in the season in terms of, and at least in the NFC, because I thought they'd be a lot better than what they are.
I'll tell you what's an underrated storyline for this Minnesota team. So the Colts signed Cam Bynum this past offseason, the safety who used to be a Viking. I think that was a really big loss for the Vikings because Cam Bynum's name almost never gets mentioned as a Colt. And if he's playing the exact same way he was in Minnesota, I imagine that was the case there too. And if that was the case, their secondary was probably playing better than it is now. Not saying it's terrible now because, they've gotten good performances, but they've definitely been disappointing. And I mean, you're hedging your bets on JJ McCarthy, who's in his second year and is injured again. I mean, that can't inspire much confidence if you're a Minnesota fan
No, no, no. No, and the Lions are coming off a bye. They're home.
and healthy
Oh yeah, they are very healthy. This
on offense, at least.
this could get ugly. This could get very ugly. And one more game that could also get very ugly with the way our confidence are. The Steelers are hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Before this season, I penciled this in as an easy win on the schedule. And now I don't even think that even belong in the same category. The Colts are the best offense in football, and the Steelers are at the bottom tier of defense in football. So we are going to do, I think we're going to do like a post-game live stream about the event. So Chelsea can drink my tears, and I can drink my alcohol.
Oh no.
Um, so yeah, um, Chelsea, about how many points do you expect Jonathan Taylor to score by himself? Okay, over or under Jonathan Taylor 50-yard runs or Chris Boswell 50-yard field goals?
Probably Boswell because the defense or the offense for the Steelers is just good enough to get long field goals, but not good enough to convert into touchdowns. So
Okay.
probably Chris Boswell field goals, honestly.
Okay, cool. Good.
Yeah, but this will be a very interesting game. I am not probably as confident going into this game as you would think I would, and it might just be the historical aspect of this rivalry. I don't care if it's not Heinz Field. We're still going to Heinz Field. Heinz Field is a very hard place to play. Mike Tomlin is a good coach, and they do have weapons on offense. Now, I can't say I'm particularly scared of the defense. Normally, I would be scared of TJ Watt, but I don't know. Is he like washed now? Because he doesn't really look the same. And that's me saying someone who hasn't watched a lot of Steelers games. So that might just be the case, and I just might be reading memes on Twitter and they not be true. But I think that this could be a trap game for Indianapolis. I'm not going to lie. It's on the road. It's against a perennial superpower in the AFC who still has talent. Even though their defense has been bad, they can still score on offense. But I do think the Colts still win, but it wouldn't shock me if it wasn't a blowout.
That's the best I can hope for. The Colts are going to win, but it's going to be a respectable win. Like, you know what? At this point, I'll take it. At this point, I'll say, yeah, fine.
Like
Um,
maybe it'll be like I don't like 27 to 17 or something. Like I don't think it's going to be like 45 to 6 like we've been winning, but I do think we'll still win. I think we're more talented on both sides of the ball. Um, but I think your guys' coach is really good and I think he's going to have you guys prepared and I think your atmosphere is really hard to play in. So, it could be a trap game, but I also thought the Titans were going to be a trap game and we beat them by like 30. So this Indianapolis team might actually have turned a corner because if it were last year or the last 5 years, we would have managed to blow at least one game to the Titans and we destroyed them in both games. So there's hope. But this will still be an entertaining game regardless. I mean, DK Metcalf is really hard to guard. You have Warren, who I think is decent. You have Aaron Rodgers, who is he 40? Yeah. Is he old? Yeah. Can he move? No. But he can still throw the ball.
he's
So
so accurate. Yeah.
if he can still get some protection, he'll probably put up some points. So I don't think it's going to be like insultingly bad. You know what I mean? Like 45 to 3. But like maybe like 30 to 17 or, you know, 27 to 14 or something, which still isn't great, but I don't think we're going to win by like 30.
Oh, I'll be talking so much smack if they somehow pull the upset. But that's a
And
big
then
if.
I'll say scoreboard record, sir.
Yeah.
What is that? What can you
Yeah, I'll be drinking. It'll be victory alcohol instead of
It's all right. You can drink
alcohol.
my tears if we manage to lose this game.
This time not this time Sunday. At some point on Sunday, someone our audience will be drinking one of our tears when yeah, so just get ready for Sunday around 4:30-ish. Chelsea Hills with all those plugs again.
Yeah, so we'll be doing the live stream on Instagram. So we'll post a preview post earlier in the day, just reminding folks. But definitely come check that out because one of us is probably going to be angry. And if that's the case, it's going to be extremely entertaining. So follow us on our social medias. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Launch Codes Football. We're on Twitter at Launch Codes FB, and we are also on Discord. If you're interested in joining our server, let us know. I'm Chelsea,
I'm Daniel.
and we'll see you next week. Go Colts.
Happy Halloween, everyone.